you may have noticed a moment ago, I spent a little time. We were tearing what's called a Kriya ribbon. Back in the day, we would, upon hearing of someone's death, we would rend our clothes. And so this is a ritual that we do now to demonstrate our mourning, and Marla will continue to wear that as a sign of her, an external sign of her mourning. I have set the eternal always before me. God is at my side. I shall not be moved. Therefore does my heart exult and my soul rejoice. My being is secure. For you will not abandon me to death, nor let your faithful ones see destruction. You show me the path of life. Your presence brings fullness of joy. Enduring happiness is your gift. On behalf of her friends and family, I'd like to welcome you. So thank you for coming together today to join us as we honor the life of Barbara Levenstein, who I will refer to as Barbie in the interest of you all knowing who I'm talking about. She always said that she was called Barbie before Barbie was called Barbie. Death has taken our beloved Barbie. Our friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Barbie's love that united us in life, in which death cannot sever. For her companionship that we shared along life's path, which continues through the tenderness of our memories. For the gifts of her heart and her mind that brought us joy and happiness, and is now a precious remembrance. For all these and more, we give thanks to God.
Vashemen Roshi, Dishanta Vashemen Roshi, Dishanta Vashemen Roshi, Kosi Revaya, Achtov Vachesed, Yirdefu Veshavti bevet Adonai. Veshavti bevet Adonai. Leorech Yamim. Yai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-dai-dai-dai-dai.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. For everything there is a season, a time for every experience under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. A woman of valor, who can find? She is more precious than fine pearls. She is trusted, and so she lacks nothing. She does everyone good, never harm, all the days of her life. She perceives that her labor is rewarding. Her candle burns on into the night. She reaches out to those in need and extends her hands to the poor. She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she faces the future cheerfully. She speaks with wisdom. The law of kindness is on her lips. Many daughters have done valiantly, but you exceed them all. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember her. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we will remember her. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we will remember her. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we will remember her. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, we will remember her. When we are lost and sick at heart, we will remember her. When there are joys that we yearn to share, we will remember her. So long as we live, she too shall live, for she is now a part of us as we remember her. So there are people that would wish to speak to you now, to share with you their thoughts and memories of Barbie. I'd like to invite Marla, her sister, up first.
Barbara never really cared what she was called. Barbie, Barb, Barbara. She just told me that she was the first Barbie. way before Barbie from Mattel ever existed. Barbie was my older sister, 20 years older. She told me that she had to change my diapers and babysit for me, especially when I was just a little baby. Of course, I don't remember that, but I do have really cool memories of her. One of them was that I was around 5 years old and really loved it when she slept over and could babysit me. So the next morning I would get up really, really early so that I wouldn't miss a minute with her. And would surprise her by making her breakfast. I would get up on a chair because the cereal was not reachable for me. So I got a chair, climbed up on the chair and got the cornflakes or Rice Krispies and the milk, and then I made toast. And then we'd have breakfast together and watch cartoons all morning. She was there for me. I wanted to really spend every minute with her. And once she told me that while she was sleeping, I opened up her eyes and looked into them and asked, "Barbie, are you in there?" She loved to tell the story of how I thought her canary bird talked. After talking to Barb on the phone, she would say goodbye, and then the bird would say, "Goodbye, Marla." And I was always excited to hear that her bird talked to me. So when I went to her house for dinner and a sleepover, dinner was spaghetti and Heinz ketchup. The bird actually picked the ketchup off of Barbie's spaghetti, but not mine. I told her the bird didn't talk to me today. Then when we were leaving and almost out the door, the bird said, "Goodbye, Marla." And I was so happy. I was so happy that the bird finally said something to me. Until someone told me that canaries don't talk. She was my older sister, my hero. She protected me and gave me all the toys I wanted. She was not afraid to climb over fences, ride a bike, water ski, snow skiing. She was athletic and strong. She was in the second Ironman in Hawaii. Amazing. I was just the opposite. An apartment Jew. I always thought our differences were because we had different mothers. I thought she was the best until I hit puberty. Then I got rebellious, older, cooler. Barbie and I had separate lives. And until I moved to Germany, where I finally settled down and made my own roots, since then we have bonded our sisterhood. I tried to visit her as much as I could. We would have our weekly calls for over 20 years. We sometimes didn't get along, and she drove me up a wall, and I'm sure I drove her up a wall too. But in any case, we always ended every conversation, no matter how loud or angry we were, with, "I love you." I am struck with this memory. Her tucking me into bed at night. Barbie would say, "I love you." I would answer, "I love you too, Barbie." "I love you this much," reaching my small arms out. And she would say, "I love you this much," reaching her arms even further out. I would say, "I love you to the moon." She would reply, "I love you to the stars." I would say, "I love you, the whole universe, I love you." And she always having the last word, would say, "I love you to infinity." Now I have the last word. Barbara, I love you to infinity.
Susan.
Now you got my tears going. So the next phase. Barbie worked with my father we lived in New York State, and we took up water skiing. And so my dad was always trying to find people to water ski with us. So Barbie was invited to go with us. I was in high school, and I had just become a born again Christian. But I'm in high school. I wasn't into preaching the gospel or anything, just living my life. Anyway, so Barbie at that time, long ponytail, always pulled back, chain smoker. And my mother would like make her go outside to smoke. And anyway, but Barbie was a great sport, and we loved water skiing with her. And I gave her a picture, got up on because she was little, she got up on my dad's shoulders, like, so, anyway, we did tricks. And then, I guess because of her being a Christian now, at some point, I remember she went outside and then she decided she's going to stop smoking. I think that's a pretty big deal. I hear it's really hard to stop. And within 2 days, that was done. And then she moved out from her boyfriend's house, wasn't going to do that anymore. And, but anyway, then she wound up moving in with us because she lived in the city and we were closer to where she worked. So we had an empty room because my sister was actually out here. So anyway, my sister became a Christian. She ran into this commune. It was the 70s. Anyway, long and short, we all wound up out here at the commune. So Barbie came a year before me, and I know this was news to Marla. She had no clue. But that's how she is out here, and I am out here. And but anyway, Barbie and I, we lived together for a time. We actually drove across country. We hiked the Grand Canyon. We didn't do the mules. We walked it 13 hours and did caving together. We have a lot of good memories. Then I wound up getting married, having kids, and she wasn't. So we had our kind of separate lives. But she was like a sister to me, so we could always just kind of pick up where we left off. And with the fences thing, so I didn't always follow the rules, and so when I needed to swim, I had my kids, and I didn't have a key to the university faculty club, because why would I? We'd climb the fence, and then Barbie would be with us, and I'd pass with a kid, and the diapers, and the playpen, and we'd do our thing, and then leave. We've climbed multiple fences to swim, she and I. I don't know what else to say. We got along because we also could see through things, and she was a truth teller, and we never kind of could follow the group if we didn't feel it was right, so we just exit. I think I'll just stop there. Yeah, I'll just stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbie was born to Sally and Eugene Levenstein on February the 21st, 1943 in the Bronx. When she was young, her father gave her a small Snoopy figurine, and she was a lifelong collector and lover of all things Snoopy. She was a woman a bit before her time. When most young ladies were looking for a husband, as they had been groomed to do, Barbie was studying chemistry at Hunter College. While working at a lab, she met Susie's father, who just spoke with you. And so Barbie was working with her dad when they met. Barbie decided to leave New York and head west. So she visited Santa Barbara a few times and then made her move cross-country to Santa Barbara. After she was here for a while, she invited Susie to come out as well, which she did. Barbie, as you've heard, was always very athletic. She liked to water ski and snow ski. She ran and swam, and she loved to cycle. She would meet and marry Paul Cole, who she met at a bike club. She also trained for and completed 2 Ironman events in Hawaii. Her husband Paul and she would take bike trips. She would say that although work was important, it was really just a means to get to do what you wanted to do. And for the 2 of them, it was being outdoors. Sadly, Paul developed Parkinson's, and Barbie took care of him until he passed in 2004. Barbie was someone who could make friends easily, but she wasn't interested in spending frivolous time with acquaintances. She wanted and cultivated a few really good friends. She was loyal and generous and fun-loving. She never forgot a birthday and would be very happy to spend it with you and help you eat your ice cream. She loved animals. She usually had a cat or 2. You heard about her bird. Her sister Marla was quite a bit younger than she, and they were very different. Marla told me that with Barbie's science mind and her creative mind, together they made one balanced person. Barbie was a good older sister, and she was very protective of Marla always. They had a good relationship and could go for a while without speaking and pick right back up once they did without skipping a beat. Later in her life, Barbie would spend time walking with her friends and riding her stationary bike. She would eventually move to Via Santa Barbara in November of 2023, where she continued to make significant friendships up until the time of her passing. Barbie was a loving sister to Marla, who she was incredibly proud of, and a great friend to Ruth, Susie, Kate, and Kathy. It is said that at the beginning of life, we get a name, and at the end of our lives, a good name is all we take with us. So whether you called her Barbie or Barbara, she left us with a good name. May her memory continue to be a blessing. I'd like to take a moment to read something from her friend Ruth that Ruth sent. She said, Barbara really loved her life, and she lived it. She was a ski instructor. She drove across the country all by herself. She participated in the Ironman twice, which we're all pretty amazed about, apparently. She participated in many things outdoors. She and her husband, Paul, had a beautiful relationship with each other. They were both very athletic. Her husband died and was on hospice care. And after he died, Barbara became a hospice volunteer. Ruth says she was my dear friend, and we went on cruises and little trips to New Hampshire. She was a very generous person, and she was anxious to help people whenever she could. She is one of the most authentic persons in my life, and I will miss her very much. May the memory of Barbie endure among us as a blessing. In your own time, O God, when we too are called to enter eternity, may we leave this life secure in the faith that in your light we shall see light. In life and in death we cannot go where you are not, and where you are, hope endures.